I want to talk about something that I want to get off my chest.
What's that?
I do not like sleeping on beds anymore.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't like sleeping on beds for some reason because, like, in my place where I usually sleep, it's like usually lumpy, and you have like a spring mattress. It always like there's always a spring that doesn't feel right for you, or you don't feel comfortable. You're really rolling around the bed.
Not really.
Really, I feel
No, my bed is like the perfect bed for me because it's not it's like I don't like soft beds. I like more stiff beds, but it's not like a board. You can still move a bit, but it's just perfect for me. So
wow, okay,
know.
but
I sleep very well on it.
I bet. I mean, for me, my bed is usually not stiff enough, so I've been thinking like, you know what? Let me just try doing that thing from anime.
Hey guys, each one likes it stiff.
No. Hey. But still, though, like,
What, are you gonna get like a futon?
that's what I've been thinking of. Like, lately, I've been, oddly enough, sleeping on the floor with
Taking
blankets.
Japanese classes, watches anime, is gonna get a futon.
I'm a pure weeb right here. You know, that's the thing that I always get called at. Like, I'm the purest weeb. I'm studying Japanese so I can go to Japan and also read manga. There's
Who needs to watch subs anymore? You can just watch it straight up, ascended.
That's basically the next level. I am global. I find it even more hilarious because I always thought if I can speak Japanese, my name makes so much sense to other people.
What do you mean?
Because you know how, okay, most hilarious thing is, and I want to talk about this because for my birthday, I had a really special time. My mom planned out the time for me to go to, the Hilton, one of the Hiltons in Orlando, that big one when you get to the airport next to the convention center. There was actually a reduced rate for around like $200 for 3 nights. And I'm like, what? So she got it. And in that, there was also, we had a chance to get a massage. So I went over there and I was like, okay, it's my first massage. This is really great.
I've never gotten a massage.
And I got to see, massages are good, though I felt like this one was a bit odd because when I went there and I was like sitting down in the robe, it was really interesting because it was like nicely laid out. They had like bamboo lockers for you to put your stuff and nice tea for you to drink while you're waiting for your person. I was the only person in the room because it's like around like 11 o'clock. Most people are at the convention or at work.
Yeah.
And she calls for a yang. And I'm like, hello, my name's Ijan. And she's looking at me like, so surprised. It's just like,
I mean, that's how most people react.
Exactly. It's just, and she says it again though, like, yang? Is there a yang in here? It's like, Ijan, right here. And she goes back into the back room looking for her manager. Seeing if I'm the right person, but I'm the only one here.
Yeah.
So I'm like, come on, I'm the who else are you looking for? An invisible.
Show where you're like ID. Like, this is me.
Well,
So you spell my name.
I would have to go to the locker room, get my wallet.
Oh,
It's such a hassle. And I'm like, can't you believe this is me, the one person that's here?
Like, that sounds like an Asian name. This guy doesn't like Asian.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Like, I bet they were expecting some old Chinese, investor to be coming in there and to gain the massage. I expect that's what they're thinking of. But they're not expecting like this young kid walking into
Taiwan?
I guess I am, apparently, because they're expecting some kind of Taiwanese kid over there. But I guess they didn't expect me as I'm black and like, what the heck? Who is this person? No. So when they eventually figured out it was me, I wasn't really mad because it's like, I feel like this is something that's normal with my name, but my name's fun and weird at the same time.
Ever since I've known you, like the first day, what was it, like 9th grade, like Hope class or something like that? And they're like, Yang? And you're like, it's me, it's Ichon.
Oh, wait.
Oh, yeah. Hey, we don't need an intro.
Yeah.
Hey, viewers. This is our special 10th episode of the Tangent Podcast. Thanks for listening, by the way. And Ijan is back in town.
Yay.
Back in our hometown. And also, it's both of our birthdays. His birthday already happened, but mine's in a few days. Don't say the dates.
No, we won't. But we just want to say
they don't know when this is
we're
recorded.
We'll just tell them that let's just let them know that we're all Scorpios here.
Scorpio is the best zodiac sign.
It is.
Okay. I have something to say.
Okay.
It was like first or second class of my speech class, and this girl, I don't know if she listens, but she was pretty cute, honestly. Mm-hmm. She's this like Latino girl.
Yeah. Okay.
And she turns to me, and we were doing like a group project, and she's like, "Oh, what zodiac sign are you?" And I go, "Oh, I'm Scorpio." And she goes, "Oh, Scorpio.
Oh.
She turns away. I'm like, what the hell is that supposed to mean?
Why?
What did I do? Are Scorpios like known to be bad for some reason? I don't get it. I mean, I looked into it later.
Okay.
But like, Scorpios are seen as like, I don't know, maybe like too serious or something like that sometimes. I don't really get. Like, I wasn't putting off a serious attitude.
Yeah.
Like, another thing is that the reason I've been so like happy lately is because in high school I would wear masks. You know how we talked about. Now I'm not really doing that.
Episode 3, yeah.
Yeah, now I've kind of my character arc has progressed where I'm not really doing that as much anymore. I still do it if I need to, but mostly it's like a coping mechanism.
Right.
Like I'll put a mask on for a test just to get like riled up for it or something like that. But most times I'm not, and I wasn't in that class. I was being. I wasn't wearing one, so I wasn't being like overly serious or anything, and it was just odd.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know. I mean, for me, oddly enough, most of these like fortunes kind of represent me. When I think about Scorpio, I'm like, yeah, I'm fairly serious. I have this kind of mood going on for me.
Yeah, I believe the quote for Scorpio, because it's still like a water sign, which means like it's like emotional. But unlike the other ones, which are rapid, changing emotions, it's like still waters run deep, where it looks calm on the surface, but it's just chaos below. Which that's how I am a lot of the times.
I feel like that hits me hard too.
Yeah.
Maybe they have a thing going on. Maybe they actually like did a survey. Would it be interesting to find out that all these astrology signs actually meant something? I highly doubt it. But...
I mean, I think it hits kind of close to me personally, but like I don't know. It's not real science or anything, but it's fun to learn about anyways and to look at.
I would say for the listeners,
it's like fortune telling. It's
yeah,
like, it doesn't do anything, but it's fun.
I mean, I remember having one time there was a fortune that says you will succeed in the next coming days, and I got a B on a test, so that was nice.
Is that succeeding? No, I think an A is succeeding.
Listeners.
Every like tiger mom ever.
Hey, listeners, if you have a fortune or a astrology sign that really speaks home to astrology sign that hits you, send us a message. But yeah, I don't know. I found that it was really funny that she was like looking for someone else. And when I actually was at the massage, I felt like I had a good time. The thing that I really think I might try to do, but I think I already do this a lot, is the steam room. That one was great.
What, like a sauna?
Yeah, and I never been in one before, but I guess my bathroom should basically be called a sauna because I always crank it up real high, and I felt it was weird. I understand those whole like movies when they have someone like sweating, and for the first time I felt like even though I was sweating water, I needed more water than ever. I'm not too sure why, but being in the heat just made me feel like I was in like a jungle or something like that.
Small little story here, but my family, my family moved here in like the 1800s from Germany, and they moved to Wisconsin, like northern Wisconsin, where we still have our houses and the land that we own because they bought it back then.
Okay.
It's still ours. But one of our family got really rich, and he's like a millionaire. Unfortunately, I don't see any of that money, but he built on that land and built this like lodge that he uses for like business associates and stuff. Like he said that he had some businessmen from China stay there for a while and stuff like that. But it's near this really small town, like 200 people in it.
Okay.
So they get like small town America sort of like experience.
Right.
But we got to go there on a vacation once, and there's a sauna in there, like a real one, with coals and everything. And me and Jake went in there. Oh, yeah, that's my brother's name. Crap. Well, it's not actually. It's my nickname. So you pranked. We went in there, and then our dad was like, "Hey," because it's right next to a lake, and this was in like October. He's like, "You should run in your swim trunks," which is what we went in the sauna with, from the sauna and jump in the cold lake. And we did, and it like that's how you wake up. Like, I felt asleep earlier, but then I was like, you're wide awake. Because you go from this blistering heat to just ice cold, and you run out, and you're like, oh my God!
You know what? Actually, I remember hearing about this in, like, Sweden or, like, in Nordic countries, that they do this in the morning to, like, they go and take, like, a nice warm bath, and when they're all sleeping, then when they go into the ice water, they're, like, prepped up. It's, like, used for, like, rejuvenation, I heard.
It does make you feel, like, new, but you really have to get warm afterwards because you're gonna get hypothermia.
Oh, yeah.
But you feel like it's like your mind just snaps awake.
I bet. That sounds like a great
it's
idea.
It's like a little hit of like adrenaline almost because of the shift change.
The shock, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of, I wanted to move on because I want to talk about some of the games that we were playing. Recently, we were playing Civ. I'm not too sure if we can ever. Maybe one day we'll have to do like a recording and put it up somewhere. But
let's do a let's play.
Let's play of Civilization, and I'm actually going to be bringing my Xbox so I can play Skyrim. Let's play.
Xbox One or 360.
360.
Old school. My 360 died on me years ago.
I got the black version. The white one.
Same.
Oh, really? The black one died on you?
Yeah, red ringed multiple times, and I looked up all those tricks of like put a spoon in it and move it around a bit, and it saved it for a while. But me and Jake did surgery on it one night with like a knife, a spoon, and a fork while my parents were asleep like a year ago.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it died on the table.
That's so sad.
The last game I ever played is one of my favorite games on the 360, which is Fable 2, which has never been ported to anything else.
Look at the bright side. You played with the.
I played one my one of my childhood games one last time. Just saw it out in the sunset, and then it just collapsed and died.
At least you had that last moment.
I guess, yeah.
But yeah, we're playing Civ, and I guess right now I'm starting to realize that raising a civilization is not as easy as I thought it would be. Oof.
Sneeze. Look at that audio jump. That's gonna hurt somebody's ears.
Mine.
I have very sensitive ears.
Is that so?
Yeah, there's actually a really long story behind that, and it's very, very, very painful.
Okay, let's go.
So, this was around this time last year.
Mm-hmm.
I got a ear infection in my left ear.
Oh, wow.
And it was really bad because I didn't know what an ear infection was. I thought my ears were just hurting, so I went to sleep, woke up in the middle of the night screaming because the pressure behind my eardrum was so bad.
Yeah.
But couldn't do anything because everyone was asleep, and I don't know how to solve that. So I just writhed around all night until I heard my parents wake up, stumbled out there because I was in so much pain, said, "Help me," and then just sort of passed out on the couch in front of my mom.
Oh, wow.
So then I wake up hours later in my parents' bed because after they got up, they put me in their bed and just said, "Hey, hopefully sleep will help." So I wake up and I feel okay, but then I'm like, why can't I hear anything out of my left ear? And my eardrum had ruptured, and there was blood coming out of my ears, bleeding down my ears. And I called them, and I can only hear through my right ear, so I do this, and I go, "Hey, my eardrum is gone. I'm bleeding." So then one of them, I don't remember who it was, I think it was my dad, he came home and took me to this little clinic near here to see what was up. They're like, "Yeah, we can't do anything about this. This is too much for us to handle." So we went to the hospital, and they gave me some antibiotics that weren't enough because they didn't stop the infection, and they gave me Tylenol for the pain. And on
That's
it. I believe there was a pain ranking of the only thing above an eardrum bursting in terms of pain is something like passing a kidney stone. So I was just like, just thinking about that pain makes my ears hurt. I was just like writhing around I couldn't even think, but it's that's like the amount of pain where you can't think about anything else except how much it hurts. And the Tylenol numbed it a bit, but it wasn't enough. For eventually, I was taking like 6 Tylenols at once because then it would actually help, and that probably wasn't helpful.
It's like,
but it's all I had. So eventually, I got better antibiotics, and then I'm like, okay, cool. And my eardrum we went to the doctor a few times. He's like,
so how does that
take a few weeks?
How do you get back your eardrum?
It grows. He's like, you're young enough to where it'll regrow, but your eardrums will always be thinner than a person your age should be. So you'll be more sensitive to sound, which means I can hear a bit better. But anything loud, like Jacob, if he screams a bit too loud, it'll hurt my ears.
So how do you go to concerts?
I went to a metal concert afterwards.
That's what I'm thinking.
And when it got really loud, I just have to do that. When they're going like a big solo, I just do this and go like, yeah, I can still hear it.
You're gonna bring some headphones.
Yeah, I should really buy those like concert things you put in your ear that dull the noise a bit.
Will probably be even more for you.
Yeah.
Maybe you should get some headphones and print it with your favorite band on it.
Oh, maybe.
But then your hair will be patted down.
Yeah, I don't like that. What's it called? But then about a week afterwards, I got an ear infection in the other ear, and the same thing happened again, and they gave me the same Tylenol, and it was hell. And then about 2 months later, both my eardrums are back, and I'm like, wow, I can hear again.
Mm-hmm.
Because first it was one's gone, it's back, the other's gone. So at least I wasn't deaf.
Okay.
I had a eardrum at least while the other one was down. So, but loud sounds are not
your luck is terrible.
Well, the world does try to kill me. I don't know if I've already told you this, but when I was born I was born early. So I was born without my lungs being fully developed. So I didn't come out crying. I came out blue. So they grabbed me from my mom and put me in an air bubble with tubes down my neck to pump oxygen in me because I would have suffocated and died. Wow. Because I didn't have lungs that were functioning. So I was like that for like a few weeks until they grew in. And then, what's it called? And then a few years later, when I was like 4 or 5, I got meningitis. Which, if you know what that is, it has like a 90% kill rate. Thankfully, I got the kind that can be cured. I don't remember if it's bacterial or viral. I think it's bacterial, but it can be cured. But what they had to do was a spinal tap. And I had to be awake for this. So my mom and dad were sitting outside the hospital room as apparently the doctor got like a giant syringe, stuck it into my vertebra as I was awake, tied down to the table, 4-year-old me, and got the fluid out to cure me. So thankfully my brain doesn't remember that because that does not sound like a fun memory.
Oh boy.
So.
Oh, future John, give a disclaimer to the viewers. This is not for sensitive ears. Oh boy.
Hey, yeah, sensitive ears. But the world did try to, kill me for the first 5 years of my life. But hey, I have a strong immune system. The only illnesses that hit me will actually take me down.
Oh boy. So. There's one thing. I remember having a terrible illness was when I was overseas in Panama. And ironically enough, it was because of American food. So
really?
Yeah, because I was over there at a mall, and I think it was, I can't remember. I think it was the Albrook Mall. Yeah, there it was. And it's next to this.
City?
It's in the main city of Panama, Panama City.
That makes sense.
So, yeah, when I was there, and I was at the Albrook Mall next to the station, and I was just so hungry because I was coming back from traveling around the city for a bit with my mom. And I said, hey, let's get something to eat. And it was around the time that most of the shops were closing, probably 10:30. So I'm like, I'm hungry for anything. Chick-fil-A is not, there anymore. Oh, actually, no, it's Pio Pio. Pio Pio is our Chick-fil-A. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't open, which I would have gone to because it was the best. So it's okay, what else around? And there was this one pizza place that was up late night. So I'm like, okay, fine. Let's just go to them and say, hey, we're closing in 30 minutes. But we still have a pizza pie that we can cook. It's all right, great. And the thing is, that should have been a red flag because if someone says, hey, we're closing up in 30 minutes, but we can cook you something, it usually means that they're going to give you the really shoddy job. And
yeah, the stuff that don't serve that to the customer.
Yeah. And I was eating it. I was oh, okay, this is an average pizza. It wasn't even good or it wasn't even terribly bad. It was just it's all right. I come back home, everything's normal. And I wake up and it's somehow 1:37 and in the morning, and I'm thinking oh God, I feel so terrible. It feels.
I hate when you wake up in the middle of the night. And you're I gotta go to the bathroom.
Yeah,
something's bad. Something bad is happening here.
I know. The worst thing is I couldn't even. Okay, I went to the bathroom and I had I used the toilet, and the thing is, it wasn't good when I was in the bathroom, but it wasn't absolutely I'm in problem danger. I was still kind of worried. It's why am I waking up? This never usually happens. Mm-hmm. About maybe 47 minutes later, I start feeling so sick, and I'm oh God, my stomach feels it's turning. And then for some reason, I barfed up onto the floor, and I'm
Jesus.
And I'm I was so in a haze. It's oh God, oh help!
It was food poisoning.
I think that what it was because it was so bad. My parents was we gotta get you a hospital. And she was helping me get into the car, or actually it wasn't a car, it was the taxi we had to get to. We didn't have a car to get through. And when we went to a hospital, we're for an hour, we're just at probably 3 a.m. in the morning. The hospital's trying to figure out how to get the insurance so they can cover up helping me with the IV fluid. And I was okay, we stabilized you. You're fine for now, but please don't eat out for the next couple of days because they were so worried I was going to get infected with something. And I had to stay there overnight until about 6 a.m.
Wow.
And luckily enough, my mom was there to make sure I was okay. But still, I was it was the worst thing in the world. And even now, I'm so careful. If I go overseas, I had to feel you eat that first. and let me see you chew it down.
What, you have like a food tester?
I mean,
you're like a medieval king. Like, I'm so afraid of poison. Let the servants take a bite first. I don't want to touch it.
I'm too wonderful to die.
Did the cook clean his hands before he made that? I want to see them cook it.
I'm too wonderful to die. I don't want to get through another spell of that. That was the most awful pain in the world. Oh yeah, but yeah. We're talking about this terrible illnesses.
Yeah, great, like, face-to-face episode. We're talking about this in terrible pain.
Oh god. Actually, I want to talk about a little bit about the games, and I'm kind of left off of it. Yeah. I did say that we were playing like Civilization, and I was going through Steam, and I told you that Steam Proton on the last episode how I can now play some Windows games on Steam, and I'm thinking I might want to try to buy Skyrim on Steam, but
I'm probably pretty biased here because I think Oblivion's better than Skyrim, but I know the Morrowind fans who are listening are already just screaming because they think Morrowind's better than both. But having played Morrowind, no. Skyrim's good, but I prefer Oblivion because I think it has a better quests and world and such.
Okay.
But like if I open my Steam right now. If I had to where's go to the things but I've been playing visual novels like Steins Gate and Valhalla.
Yeah. So
I don't mean to launch Valhalla, stupid Steam.
But I actually want to talk about. I'm about to play. I probably will buy Valhalla in the coming because I like cyberpunk. That's my favorite. One of my favorite genre.
I really enjoy the soundtrack, which was what we were listening to earlier. It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. I like it. I'm gonna put a link to like one of the songs. But actually, I want to hear what you think about Steins Gate now that you played a bit of it so far.
I have only finished the first act. The lab just figured out that the microwave can like time travel, kind of. I don't understand how it works.
So
because every time before it would turn into gel. Like, they put the bananas in, they turn to gel, and then now they figured out somehow if they take the phone that was originally on there and put, like, I think they put Rintaro's phone on, and now it can time travel. They thought it was teleportation at first, but it's time travel. And then what literally just happened was Mayuri came and she put the chicken number one because the game's in Japanese. When they one of my favorite lines was when Karisu came in, and because she spent like a long time in America, Rintaro was like, "Oh, aren't you supposed to greet people like Americans do?" And because he's Japanese, he speaks in English like, "Howdy there, partner. How do you do?" or something like that. It was great.
I find these. Well, I think that's one of the things I love about anime, man. Whenever they do like American accents.
Yeah,
it's the most weird thing. Like, is that how we sound?
Yeah, I can't tell what an American accent sounds like because it's just what I'm used to,
Yeah.
Well, I can tell what like a northerner accent or like a westerner accent sounds, but I'm sure there's like we sound like southern to them.
I feel like every time they think of America, it's like Texas, right?
Yeah, it's like cowboys, pew pew, cowboys,
oil, money.
Okay. I've been seeing these memes on Reddit of like America invades every third world country's oil, and like I know it's a joke, but like we didn't even take any oil in our Middle Eastern wars. We burned the oil fields. We didn't even take any, and why would we need any? We just get it from like Alaska or something like that. Although didn't Obama stop the drilling there?
I believe it was. What was it? No. We didn't stop it. Remember
I think he just restricted it.
He restricted it. He tried to make it where it wouldn't hurt the environment as much.
What's your take on those like environmental issues?
I think there should be better environmental issues because the thing is, I feel as though my opinion is that corporations want to restrict it, obviously for their benefit, so they can make more money without having to go through
unrestricted.
Yeah, if you unrestrict the laws so you can have more chances to get oil from anywhere, then you're going to make more profits. But at the cost of me having a kid and they can live in a nice, safe, clean world. Whereas most of the environmental regulations I think about are fairly like common sense. Like, hey, don't drill in these, very important environments that support the ecosystem. So that way, we can keep the animals.
There has to be some trade-off, though.
I do understand. I feel like we have made a lot of trade-offs, though. That's the thing.
I think it could go a bit further.
Though, I would like more renewables.
Well, yeah, but I think we should switch to like nuclear power because I think it's the best option for the future.
Personally, I like atom, power in my opinion because it's like nuclear fission seems like a really good option that doesn't seem to be on the table, mostly due to like history, not even technology. I mean, look at thorium, and I think you talked about how thorium is not even like.
Yeah, it's fairly clean. Yeah,
exactly, and it's not as it's nowhere close to reactive as uranium, which
people are just so afraid of any kind of nuclear power because of Chernobyl and stuff like that.
Exactly,
which is a threat, but that was under the crumbling Soviet Union
and with a different element. So it's like there's a lot of variables that have changed. That's what I'm saying. Like, I would like more renewables.
I don't think solar and wind can sustain a large population.
I think solar and wind would work for like smaller countries. Yeah. That's why I'm not saying that we should invest into it, but I would like
somewhere with a population probably around, I don't know, like a million.
Yeah, like million? Italy would be a good place for solar power.
I think Italy has more than 2 million people in it.
Even so, like look at the coast and then like the geography is in.
Well, one thing that I thought would be interesting is why don't we put wind turbines like out in the sea? Because there's so much wind there. Why not just have offshore wind turbines?
I feel like that's an option on the table. I mean, it makes sense, but then you have to figure out how do you connect that energy over.
What about currents? Because the entire thing to generate power is turning a turbine.
Right.
Why not put a turbine in a water current? It'll spin it as it moves through.
That's cool.
You can generate power like that.
Yeah,
I know, but that's
dams.
what they do with dams. But why not put it in the ocean?
Because you need to build a really giant wall to get that water siphoned into it. Build a big wall across the Atlantic Sea.
Pay for it. Make the merman pay for it.
Make the merman pay for it. Oh, I do think that I would like to see more renewables than I see currently.
Are you wearing a chain?
I do. I carry this.
What are you, Jotaro?
Maybe. I actually like him so much, but actually, there's actually this one thing I wanted to talk about because of topics. But just to close off on it, I do think that I would like to see more restriction on the oil currently and focus more into more renewables. I'm not saying it has to be the current, water, wind, fire, the 4 elements. But I do want to see more options because if it's just oil, then we're going to be screwed by a time.
Eventually, yeah.
Very soon, by the end of this decade. I mean, not decade, but century.
Like maybe even harnessing geothermal, like drilling holes into the ground to get closer to the core and harnessing that power.
Fair enough.
That sort of thing. Like that can happen anywhere because you just have to drill down far enough.
Fair enough,
but you do have to be careful.
There's trade-offs. Like I'm not going to want to drill in a place that doesn't have a connection to a fault line.
Yeah, but on those fault lines. Although the problem there being is you could make the fault lines unstable.
Exactly, which is what Japan has. I mean, if you want to talk about like geothermal, fault lines, you might as well go to Japan,
or anywhere in the Ring of Fire.
Anywhere in the Ring of Fire, go to Malaysia.
Although you could even do that like in the ocean, but that could cause tsunamis.
I mean, I'm not too sure how big we would. I don't think that would really cause a tsunami, but I mean, obviously, like
But like the earthquake, like if you make the fault line unstable, it could shift and move the water, which could make a tsunami.
I would think you would have to.
Underwater earthquakes usually lead to some kind of tsunami.
Yeah, but I would say you would have to have a ton of force in order for something like that to be created by humans. That's really hard to do.
Yeah, but I'm saying that
you have to, launch,
humanity would just speed it up, like we usually do on things like this.
Kinda. I mean, I'm not too sure. I'm not the scientist about it. I mean, maybe I would believe you could maybe hurt a fault line if you drop like a crap ton of nukes on the fault line in the water. Then you might cause a tsunami. But I don't believe by just harnessing geothermal energy you would cause a tsunami. And
I'm saying if you dig directly on that fault line, like at the line itself, it could cause instability.
Maybe. Maybe one day I'm gonna go ahead and do some research on geology. Listeners, if anyone has got a degree,
any geologist out there, send us a message on Twitter.
Send us a message on Twitter.
We'll respond to it within 2 weeks.
At the Tangent Pod. Actually, I wanted to talk about one thing because there's something I was trying to think about. Yes, I have a little journal that I keep to basically keep track of thoughts and ideas I have in my pocket. And one of the thoughts and ideas I have, even though I can't even get to it on the piece of paper, I just know it because I have it in my hand, is I'm considering this should be a law in the state of Florida. And I want you to hear me on this.
What's that?
All all kids that are in high school that are 14 or older are required, or not required, but schools are required to put up a form that allows you to get a Florida ID, basically, and it's funded by your own tax dollars.
What, like voter ID?
No, just Florida ID. You see, Florida ID is basically like the ID that you can have for your state is below a driver's permit. You don't get to drive, but it just says who you are.
Oh yeah, because like a lot of the times, like if something asks for identification, like, does a driver's license work?
That Florida
ID. If I didn't have a driver's license, what the hell would I give them?
The Florida ID. And that's
that
the
makes
thing.
Sense.
You can get it when you're 14, but the thing is, most people don't know about it because it's not something that's
I've never heard of it.
Exactly. If the fact that I have a driver's license now, but no one has ever heard about Florida ID, even though they can get it when they're in middle school, is something important. Because if you're in 8th grade or 9th grade and you want to get a job, having a form of identification is amazing because you don't have to worry about like
your birth certificate or something.
Yeah, birth certificate is like where you're gonna find that in some drawer that you're
some safe in the back of a closet or something like that.
Baby's just in a box that your parents might have forgot about. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, that's something that was so useful, and I even thought about like if I didn't have a car and I was going to school, Florida ID would be the best thing. Like, especially if you're in like just college and you're like, if you don't need a car and you can like take a bus or walk to your school, why not get that?
That sort of thing's really popular in states like New York.
Yeah.
Well, New York City, I should say, not the whole state, but where there's like people don't really need cars as much because of public transportation. Probably a lot more popular because you don't need a driver's license, really. Well, if your commute's good.
Exactly. And I was thinking, like, regardless, even if you're just a person that is going to work.
Say you take the bus to work or something like that because you might be of lower income. Yeah.
Or if you just can bike to your school or anything. But having the ID for, like, getting a job, voting, that saves you a lot of trouble regardless of where you're in. Because, I mean... And I'm not saying you have to replace like school IDs either. You can just put it alongside, but be like, hey, it's the second week of, let's say it's the second week of September. The district requires us because most of the people here are 14 or 15.
Like freshman year, yeah.
Freshman year of high school to have this paper signed off.
You need to get it renewed like every 2 years, something like that,
I think it's like every 4 years. So by the time you get out of high school,
you have to get it. You're replaced like after senior year, yeah.
Exactly, and it saves you trouble. So you just sign it off. You get your parents' permission, and with the normal tax money that would have gone to the school anyway,
you just take a picture of you and print you out on a card with your name, date of birth, all that sort of thing.
Basically,
probably not your like social on it because that'd be a bit much.
No, I don't think you put your social on your ID anyway. That's
isn't it on your driver's license?
No, I don't believe so.
I thought it was.
I can check right now if I want.
I don't got mine on me.
But
I mean, like, I even got an ID for my college I'm going to. They took one of me.
Yeah, there's one. Mine is so hilarious because everyone's been saying I'm getting erased from my existence and my ID.
Dude, you look like you're on one of those like documentaries and like you got like redacted, you know?
I'm being redacted by
because it's right over your eyes
and my mouth.
They always do. Yeah.
It's hilarious. I'll put a picture up.
Dude, in this photo makes you look like like
I'm being erased.
No, you look like you're like 25 in this photo. Maybe it's because you don't. Maybe it's because I can't see your glasses and like your eyes.
Yeah, they said don't put your glasses on when you're taking the photos.
I wore mine.
For me, they said take it off, and I was like, oh.
Because they're like, do you wear your glasses all the time? Like, yeah, I need them to see. So like, yeah, I just wear them.
Yeah, I mean.
Although my ID says that I look like a Samoan with that much hair.
You look like you're in an indie band. You look like you're
there you go,
the bass guitarist.
Take that noise I just made and do what you want with it.
This is great. But yeah,
I do have a bass guitar though.
Is that so?
Do
you play any songs? You know?
No. I'm not that good at it, honestly.
I have I told you I played the trumpet, and now I'm starting to get back into it more because I took a little break. Obviously, because of band, I didn't want.
Have a band of a bass guitar, drums, and a trumpet.
I mean, that's enough.
And vocals, I guess.
Get some vocals. I mean,
clapping.
I have a acoustic guitar also, so if we can.
Oh yeah, we definitely some of that.
We can start a band.
We make our own Tangent Podcast music. no copyright needed.
There you go. That's another thing I was thinking about. I was wondering how do I get music legally because I can technically use it until someone says don't. like reposting memes or doing something like that.
That's what I would do, honestly.
At this point, I'm considering doing it, and then eventually
Because I've seen so many people use music. Like, for example, I was watching a video of this. I don't remember what it was on, but it was on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy was using music from the Persona series. And I'm like, I know that song, but he's just using the like more chill background music.
Right.
And I'm like, he can just do this because the video wasn't like demonetized. There were ads and stuff on it.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, so
I'm like, we could use some of those because I send you music from time to time.
Right, that's the thing, and I love half the music that listeners, half of the music that you listen to is only stuff that is legal. Most of the stuff that I would love to put in this podcast is because I'm not too sure if Japan or YouTube or whoever
Japan have a much harder time.
Japan will have a hard time.
Music from that scene to be a lot harder for them to get. Also, due to our size right now.
Yeah.
I doubt people would really care that much.
Exactly. I feel like if we were like a really big, making a lot of money, then they would start caring.
We'd probably have to license some music, yeah.
Which even then, I'm like, okay, by the time we're that big, I think we can afford a license.
Yeah, just be like, hey, we're like I listen to a lot of more like indie music a lot of the time. Like that guy I sent you, Miracle Sound. He's like one of my favorite guys on YouTube.
Right.
His basic thing is, yeah, you can use my music as long as you credit me in your
I mean, I love people who do that.
Yeah, he's like, I don't care. It gives me exposure.
That's the thing.
But the problem with him is a lot of his music has a lot of vocals in it. Like, almost all of it is vocals. And the few I've sent you that don't have are still good. Mm-hmm. But, yeah. Like, I don't like putting vocal tracks in the background of two people talking.
Yeah, I don't know how that... I mean, I never listened to a podcast that had, like, vocal music in the back.
The only vocals I'd ever heard in a podcast was, like, the intro or outro.
Right.
Where they'd be like...
Or the transition music.
Yeah.
I still think you should watch Hello Internet or CGP Grey's Cortex.
I would just rather play you or just watch more JoJo or just do something else.
Oh,
that's just more entertaining to me. Like the times I listen to podcasts is when I'm doing something else. Like for example, the podcast I have been listening to, I've been doing while I've been grinding levels in Persona 3 because that's the worst part of the game. Honestly, here, listeners. None of you probably ever played Persona 3 because it came out in like 2006. And the reason I'm playing it is because I really like the Persona series. There's Tartarus, which is where you level. It's this giant tower full of shadows, which are the enemies.
Right.
And you start level 1, and the bosses, progressively get harder. Like the first boss, like level 9. The final boss is level like 80. And right now I'm level like 52. But I still have to go that far. And as you go higher in level, it takes more time to level up. So I go from level 1 to 2, it takes me like 2 fights. To go from level 50 to 51, it took like 30, 35 fights. These fights take like a minute each, really. And you have to run around on the map to find them. You have to try to ambush them. And you have health, and you have to do... It just takes a lot of time. Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of grinding.
So I would just turn the game down a little bit because I know how to fight the enemies well. And I'll just put on a podcast and just sort of like lay there and play. But otherwise, like if I'm in here... I'm mostly trying to focus on what I'm playing. Like, nothing here, besides my map games, which is what I call them, because it's just staring at maps.
Yeah.
I put something on over here on my second monitor for that, but it's usually just like YouTube videos, But if I'm playing anything else, I usually try to pay attention, because I really like to get immersed in my playing.
What I like to find is I need to find one game that I can play while I'm editing up the podcast, because... At the moment, Civ takes too much energy.
So you want something that you can play, but you don't have to put full effort into.
I can do something else more demanding while I'm still playing. Because the thing is, editing the podcast is a rewarding experience sometimes, and other times it's like cutting out all the junk or the hiccups when the audio messes around.
I know one game that might be good because it doesn't go unless you do, which is Sorcery. Sorcery, those old choose your own adventure books?
Yeah.
It's like that, but it's made into a game.
Okay.
So,
it's like a Telltale.
Not really. Like, you see here, here's a bit of the combat, which, it's like turn-based. Mm-hmm. But it's like, there's 2 dials. There's the enemy dial and your dial, which is your strength. You can go a little thrust if you put in 1, or you can go to a 10 and put in full power. But your enemy, if they defend, they only take 1 hit. But if you're both charged at full strength, whoever put in more strength deals the damage to the other person. Well, you don't take any.
Okay.
So it's fun, but it's also oh, will you give this beggar money or will you hit him in the face and take his? And like, if you give him money, he's like, here's a key you can use in 6 hours in the next city that'll save you if you get captured by the Red Eyes. It's like, who are the Red Eyes? He's like, you don't want to know. And then later on, hours later, when I get captured by the Red Eyes because I tried to steal their treasure, and I'm in their prison cell, and you're like, you have no way out. They've bound your like magic is bound, and they took your equipment, except your satchel you have, which is full of like food and stuff. Mm-hmm. They just said you can eat your food and then die. So you open it, and it's like, you have a rusty old key you got from a beggar. It's 6 hours ago. Do you want to try it? Opens it because he used to be the like prison master of that prison.
What?
And then I do a stealth mission to get out of the prison, grab my gear, take their loot. It was awesome. And then the fourth part, because there's 4 parts to it. The fourth part is all about death time travel.
Oh.
At the very beginning, there's this time traveler who's stuck in a death loop. Whenever he dies, he goes back to when he was cursed with that. Mm. Also in the game, you can like go back in time to like change your choices.
Okay.
That is removed in part 4. Oh. And it's given, the death curse is given to you. He grabs your hand and goes, you're now cursed. I can finally die. Then he just goes and kills himself because he's been alive for hundreds of years. Or something like that. So whenever you die in part 4, you're brought back to the moment he grabbed your hand. And you have to redo everything. So at the end, you like, I got a piece of paper out. I was like, okay, I have to go here, get this, get that, because I have to open the door with these special holy vials, mm-hmm. and then this certain spell, which I have to learn from this goblin in this case, and then I have to go in and make sure I don't insult the archmage, and then I have to get my fairy friend that I got in part 1, who you could have just instantly squashed when you met him, and you have to make sure he's alive, so you have to go back to part 1 if you fuck up. And then the like archmage's magic doesn't work because the fairy blocks all magic, which was hell in part 1 because it basically meant you couldn't use any magic for the first half of the game. And then you win. But at the end, I forgot I had to remove the death curse. So at the end, it's like, you finished your journey, but after years of living a full life, you die of old age, and you're back in the city of Kar. You have to restart your journey. And I was like, no. And then I shut the game off and I didn't touch it again. Because he like goes on to have kids. Like imagine that. You're the hero. You come back with the king's crown, mm-hmm. the magical one, and then you live a full life. But then you're just knowing, when I die, I have to go back, and none of this will ever happen. My children will be gone. My life, everything. It was so cool. I loved it. Oh, and I got all 4 for like $10.
Ah, that sounds good.
And it's also on like iPads and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. But that's a really cool game.
That seems like,
it sounds like an investment. So much replayability value. Like part 1 is probably, there's only like 3 routes you can take in part 1 because it's the intro. But especially in part 2, it's a giant city. Not right. No. It's part 2 is a giant city full of thieves. It's basically like, do you know? Wait, no, you haven't played Skyrim.
I played Skyrim.
It was like Riften.
Yeah.
But Riften, if it was 5 times the size, and if there was a werewolf cult, there was a Daedric cult that worships chaos and like destruction, mm-hmm. everything, and it's great. Part 3 is you're going through these like backlands, but you're being hunted by like 12 giant serpents.
Right.
And like one is a time serpent, so you can try to run at it, but it just freezes you, and then just dead until you master time yourself, because there's these towers you can unlock by shifting them, because the land is either completely barren or lush full of life, depending on where these tower spotlights are, because the spotlights move it back in time. Because it's like a barren wasteland unless the spotlight's on it when it's like 10,000 years ago.
Huh.
So if you move the spotlight onto the time serpent, he's frozen and you're not. So you can just go up and go, dead. Because he wasn't even born.
Wow.
So he's like frozen in his own paradox. The puzzles are amazing, is what I'm saying. And I really love the game.
Is this something I have to commit to, though? That's the only problem.
It's all pausing. Like, when you have a choice, you have infinite time. Like I said, for the first 3 episodes, you can go back and change your things. Mm. You can save, of course, but you can just, while you're editing, you can go like, oh, I'm editing, and then, okay, I want to move from here to that forest, and keep editing. It's like, okay, there's a witch. What do I do? Like in episode 1, there's this old lady on this waterfall. She has a house on top of the waterfall. It's like, oh, come in for tea. And if you have the fairy with you, he's like, I wouldn't trust her. Just go around. If you go around, then she shoots you with a lightning bolt, I believe, and kills you. Unless you're good at sneaking. And then if you go in, she's like, here's some tea, drink it. If you drink the tea, nothing happens. And then she hunches over, runs into the other room and drinks a vial. And it's like, oh, okay, now leave. What she expected you to do, one of the options was drink your tea, swap with her and drink hers, or don't drink at all. If you don't drink at all, she gets mad at you. But if you swap with her, like I did, and what most people do, because you think it's a trap, but it's the inverse trap.
It's a reverse
cycle. You drink hers and then you die and she takes your stuff.
So you just trust her.
Yeah, if you trust her, she's like, oh my god, and runs in the room because it's so uncommon for people to do that. Like she drinks the thing to get rid of the antidote, poison, and she's like, get out of here. But drinking her tea gives you like 2 health back.
Wait, what?
Yeah, because
you drink her tea and it poisons.
Because it's really good tea.
Oh.
And you're like, it's like you feel like refreshed, and it's like plus 2 health.
Like thanks, Witch. Like,
so yeah.
Thanks, Witch, for giving me some nice tea.
So
like,
that was my rant about sorcery. It's a very good game.
All right, I'll have to check it out then. Hopefully it's on a deal. I can get for $5 instead of 10.
It does go on sale for fairly cheap.
Okay.
Sales.
Oh wait, how would I
need to get on my internet?
Is that the case?
It's called Normie Central.
What's the password to Normie Central? Listeners,
I don't want to say it out loud.
Listen very closely. The password to Normie Central is
go yourself.
Whoa! This is a no cursing zone right here.
No cursing on my.
It is a Christian Minecraft server, all right.
It should be going in, and like unless they change the password again.
Well, it's resolving the host. It just means that my computer is slow. And also, I have a VPN on, which I gotta say, I like it. Recently, the VPN service that I've been using has been amazing because they've just added some new plugins so I can make it where my computer has it easily. And I think
when I used to use a VPN back in like middle school
to get to
like play games and stuff, it was fun.
So, I think one of the things in high school, that's what we did. What was it, Surf VPN?
Something like that, yeah.
It was like a little.
Like one of the only unblocked ones.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, cool, we can play super hot. Yeah.
The super hot demo in my computer labs and during lunch and stuff. This is before they sectioned off the library to be you can still go into it during lunch. The first 2 years.
The first 2 years when I was there, we can just go in there, hang out,
and my friends
read manga,
and we would all get on the super hot demo back when it was a free demo, and we would all see who could complete it the fastest. I think our record time was like 2 minutes.
That's pretty good.
It was, but basically you wouldn't stop time at all. You just have to know the routes exactly of what to do and how to move.
Okay.
If you got something wrong, you just go like, no, because the guy next to you is like a second behind you, and you have to restart. And it was very fun and very competitive, but I think our fastest time was like 2 minutes.
That's pretty good.
Because there were only like 5 levels.
That's true. There's only 5 levels, and then after that, it's like you've been chosen for the corporation.
Yeah, then you just run to the window and kill yourself as fast as you can.
I don't know why. I have to buy the game, so.
I have it. It's pretty good, but it's kind of short.
That's the thing. I wanted to be. When I played Super Hot, I wanted it to be very long. It has replay value.
It has a infinite mode where you go into a level and there's infinite spawning enemies, and eventually it just gets chaos because you have 6 guys with guns pointing at you. You have to figure out how to not die. So, but that's pretty fun, and I think my longest run was like 15 minutes. Whoa. Until there were just too many enemies, and I just couldn't handle it. Just
F and die.
Yeah, my strategy at the end was wait around a corner with a sword for them to come around the corner and just go slice until one came around with a shotgun and went bang.
Yeah, I died. That. Actually, also, one of the things that my roommate and I talked about is he has this site. I can't remember the name of the site.
Site?
Yeah, the site that I called. It was next to where they were selling online decorative swords. You can get odachis, some crusader swords.
I don't know what an odachi is.
An odachi is basically a very long katana, but it's a really big sword.
Like the two-handed kind?
Two-handed.
Oh, okay.
I found it was pretty good. But you can buy that kind of stuff commemorative, and there's different levels where you can say blunt, sharp,
I've
fine.
got a Gladius.
Ooh, Gladius.
It's just a normal steel kind, but it's nice.
I was always thinking, like, me and my were talking about what would be the best kind of weapons to have during, like, say, standard apocalypse. Nothing zombie related, but just more of like New York blackout apocalypse.
So like, there's this book series I read in high school where it's set in Florida, which is why I read it. But it's like it's basically a giant solar flare happens.
Right.
And all electronic things really stop working. Cars still work, but only like the really old kinds that are basically like from like the 60s and stuff like that, and before that. But all modern cars with so much like electronic stuff in them stop working. And in Florida, with stuff like that, people have to get used to the heat, alligators, stuff like that, and
it's gonna kill you.
In that sort of apocalypse where it's electronics, basically we get sent back to like.
1900.
Early 1900s,
yeah.
Stuff like that. Well, not really,
Early 1900s with better guns.
Yeah. But super advanced guns didn't work either because they have like super like military guns, like guns, the kinds of electronics. But a standard gun to work because it's just a fire.
It's mechanical.
Yeah. I would say. Let's have two categories: range and melee.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, in terms of ranged, I would say something with easily available ammunition. And I would not say something like a bow or a crossbow because they'll get outgunned easy. I'd say something like, maybe like a 40 caliber pistol.
Really?
Something that, a 40 caliber pistol will still take a guy down because most of your enemies won't be armored.
I mean,
There'll be other people like you.
Yeah.
You won't really, like, if you're fighting the military, then you're just dead anyways.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not expecting to fight the military. I'm just expecting... like Fallout, but Fallout enemies, but
without the nuclear.
Yeah, without the nuclear aspect.
Yeah, I would say just a standard pistol with a decent mag size, and decent I wouldn't say a 9mm because I don't think the stopping power is high enough.
I was thinking about going for a 6-shooter revolver. 44.
Yeah, the problem there, like, there's power there.
That's the thing.
But you don't have like a speed loader because your 6 shots. You're like a smart opponent will just bait out those 6 shots, then run around a corner and gun you down while you're trying to put.
Well, here's the thing I was thinking: revolver with a shotgun, cowboy style.
I'm talking one weapon, not combo.
Okay, fine. But in that case,
either that or like a standard like 5.56 assault rifle.
Yeah.
That's more powerful, but the rounds be a bit harder to get.
Well, that's the thing. I was thinking about like getting the revolver because you get to maximize, how much time you can probably find ammo. It's pretty easy.
Right, well, revolvers aren't as common as your standard pistol.
Is that so?
They make up for it in stopping power.
I mean, that's the thing. I was trying to balance, it's fairly common.
Yeah, like, I would say something like a 1911 would probably be my choice because it has fairly common ammo, it's fairly powerful, and it's kind of, not huge.
Yeah.
So you can keep it in, like, concealed almost, But it's not like a small little gun, and you can still see it if you look hard enough. But I think it'd be good. Like, that's what I would choose if ammo was a consideration. If not, then I'd probably take a pump shotgun.
Yeah.
Because that's what I actually own.
Yeah.
I can show it to you later if you want.
Why not? We can just check it out a little bit later.
Yeah.
But yeah. I guess in terms of melee. I mean, I'm more of a brawler, but I can see that being a problem. And
yeah,
I can see punching people. What would be the best solution?
What is your preferred, like? Let's say it's a pure melee fight.
Okay.
And you're both in some decent armor, not like plated, but just like reinforced.
Leather armor.
Like, not really leather, but like, I don't know, like chainmail. That's
okay.
Like.
Oh, we're going medieval.
Well, this is a hypothetical situation.
Okay.
What would be your melee weapon of choice? Shields can be included, and so can two-handed weapons.
Oh well. Well, if we're doing chainmail, I guess mace battering, right?
Chainmail, you wouldn't really need it. Like, mace is more for plated armor because you can't stab through that, but you can crush what's beneath it.
That's what I'm thinking.
But chainmail is this thin. It's mostly used to stop like slashes.
I was thinking about getting. I was thinking about getting an axe. I was thinking about getting an axe at first.
An axe would not be good.
Like a hand axe. But then I thought, against chainmail would be crappy. So that's what I was thinking.
I mean, it could still probably go through if you put enough force into it, but
I'm not going to. I'm not going to expect that I'm going to have perfect, crits.
Yeah.
So, I guess if I'm going to get someone like that decently armored,
You and your opponent are on the same meta armor, really.
I would honestly go for more blunt weapons because like a baseball bat.
Baseball bat's a good choice.
Because I think it maximizes range while also, damage. If I can get a good crit on any
I'd
vital part.
probably take a sword and shield.
But then the chainmail. But the chainmail, wouldn't that...
You can stab through it if you... Like
so you're going to go for like... Yeah, but wouldn't that be easy to block though?
Maybe, but that's what would you use the shield for? Use the shield to smack them so they're stunned and then go like that.
Oh.
Basically just take the like Roman thing because that's why I have the Gladius. It's what I would use.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I don't know. I was thinking more of like, I was honestly thinking more of like, what can I find to protect myself?
Well, yeah, okay, but back to our like apocalypse scenario.
Yeah.
Baseball bat's probably a decent choice.
Baseball bat or a Glock would probably get you far.
Oh yeah, that's what most people probably carry anyways. It's the most like available.
Then again,
either that or like knives.
Well, yeah,
but knives.
That's gonna be like
range
secondary.
Is so short, yeah.
This is gonna be more like throwing.
Yeah, and let's say unless you're going throwing knives, but I've tried it. I'm not that great.
I wouldn't even bother. I feel like that's more
effort.
You
ever smashed a watermelon? With like a baseball bat before.
I have smashed a watermelon, but with my fist. But it wasn't fun. It was already like, first of all, it was already like weak. It was already slumpy. So I just punched it through, and that was fun. But it still hurt.
Me and my brother had one, and we had. I believe it was one, maybe two.
Okay.
I think it was two because I remember we cut through one.
Oh.
With a sword. We went like right through the middle. That was fun.
Grand executioner.
But then I got to with baseball bat just go boom and it just splattered. It was so much fun. I actually want to do that again sometime, but I want to try it where like all the bat and Jake will throw it in the air and I'll go. Like try to do like a home run on it, like that. That'd be really fun. Or just try to, oh my god, punch it.
That's
right out of the air. That'd be fucking.
That's gonna be painful though, right?
I don't care. That'd be fun.
That won't work though. Look, even doing like a really weak watermelon is gonna hurt, and it might go through. It took me like at least 3 punches to get through.
I'll do like a. Oh wait, no, that's JoJo spoiler.
That's
I was gonna say like I'll do what Dio does like Kakyoin, just go straight through the middle. But you probably don't get that because that's part 3.
I'm assuming you're going to go like...
Well, yeah, he just punches straight through a guy's chest. Like through the stomach. Yeah.
So you need a lot of... You don't understand how much... Okay, I'm not saying it's impossible. But I'm saying like the amount of force necessary, I feel like you would have to train for that to work.
I'm trained to punch watermelons. I'm a bodybuilder. And I'll just be like in the gym just like practicing. It's like, what are you here to practice for, man? I'm gonna take down those fucking watermelons.
It killed my brother.
Let's go. Okay then. And just walk away to his friend like, he's a fucking psycho.
That'd be a great backstory.
That would be great.
Have you checked out r/, boss fights?
I've been subbed there for like 6 months.
r/boss. Okay, so you've seen like some of the crazy like stuff I've seen. Like, there was one person that he had a chair and covered all over, and he was doing breakdancing, and it was like a spindle. I forgot the name of the boss. It was so hilarious. I feel like that would be great, like for JoJo enemies.
Well, JoJo is just so weird. Like literally anything could probably be an enemy. Like I saw one in a r/boss fight, which could probably be a stand. Which was this guy. He must have had a ton of brass instruments because he was basically a tuba. He took a bunch of tuba parts and made himself into this boss with all these different parts covering his whole body, like his head. Was a
tuba horn. His arm was the pipe.
Yeah, no, but he was completely covered. Like, you couldn't see the person underneath.
Oh, okay.
And he was just like this, and I was like, that could be a stand.
Just Superman.
And his power could be like he could make really loud noises. And just break people's eardrums.
Whoa!
That's basically Koichi's stand.
Break people's eardrums by just
existing. He's like, I summoned my stand, and because in like part 4 and on, they're named different bands. So what's the loudest band that you know? Plays the loudest music.
Kiss.
So like, I summoned Kiss, and it's a giant like brass monster thing that goes, ah! Everyone's like, oh my god!
I want to die. That's a good way to kill someone.
It has no weakness.
It has no weakness.
Deaf guy shows up. Oh my wabu. Shinderu.
Nani.
Just instantly destroyed.
Actually, that's like I wonder, will that meme die soon? Because this has been OU.
I mean,
Omae mo Shinderu.
I think it's one of those like, because the anime community is still like not huge.
Yeah.
It's one of the classic memes of that community.
It really,
when it finally goes mainstream, which it will probably in the next few
I thought
years.
it did went mainstream a little
It
bit.
went more mainstream, but you still like can't walk up to like, hey, what's your favorite anime? You can walk up to and be like, hey, what's your favorite like game? Like you usually say something because gaming went mainstream,
long
in the
ago.
past 10 years, yeah. But you can't say it about anime. Most people are like, I don't watch anime, or ew, you watch anime, or stuff like that.
I've never heard the ill part, but I have.
I have.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like people are surprised that I watch anime.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's like
I can see.
I don't like to talk about race here, but like most people who I know who watch anime are white or Asian.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. Well, except one of my friends, Sean, who hi, if you're listening, Sean. What's it called? I didn't even know he watched anime until he told me because I was wearing a shirt. It was from the show Over the Garden Wall. It was the Beast. It's a really cool shirt. I'll show it to you later. And he's like, "Oh, is that from One Piece?" Because it was this like shadowy figure with giant like antlers.
Oh yeah, that looks like Chopper.
He's like, "Is that a guy from One Piece?" I'm like, "I've never seen One Piece. It's too long. I don't want to start that." He's like, "Yeah, I get that." And then because I knew he watched anime. What's it called? We were doing a like group project in my chem class, and we have computers in front of us in my chem class.
All right.
And the clock on the computers had stopped. So I'm like, oh, it's like somebody activated the world up in here because that's one of the abilities in JoJo. One of the villains can stop time. And he's like, huh? I'm like, it's from JoJo. You watch anime. You should know this. It's really popular. He's like, I've heard of it. I've never seen it. I'm like, go watch it.
I mean, I'm being bullied by you and my
I know.
roommate. So
I'm basically making you watch JoJo because like it's
but
good.
it's good. So
well,
it's like,
well, you basically made me watch like Gurren Lagann and stuff, which hey, it's a great show. I don't mind, and I'm sure you don't mind watching JoJo because
no, great show. I want to spend more time with it. Just want to relax. Just go ahead and
but you're reading the manga because your internet's so trash.
Now that's because I'm in
dorms.
I'm in dorms and I don't have my own internet. This is based off the school. If I had live off campus, I probably would have had better internet access. But at the same time, what you gonna do? I was considering, actually, here's another thing I'm thinking about. Should I leave dorms next year? Because I'm only going to be in school for one more year. By next year and the fall of that year, 2020. So I'm thinking maybe I should just live on dorms, keep the rate as it is. Or, well, actually, it'll be more expensive because they make it easier for you to get, in there to pay for it. It's not as much money. But after which...
After the first year.
After the first, which it's like you can't go into the same dorms. Like, why? That's for first years only. It's like, but it's a good rate. It's like only $5,000. That's like only $500 a month.
5,000. Jesus.
No, 5,000. 5,000 a semester. No, actually, no. It's 2,000 a semester. What am I talking about? But it's $500 a month.
That's not terrible.
For rent?
But you could probably get a decent rent. It wouldn't be a huge place.
No, but I would have
you'd probably have a roommate.
That's the thing. If I had a roommate, there was this one place where you can get it for $1,000 a month, but divided by us would be $500. So that's great. This one bedroom. So it'd be like, hey, if you had a girlfriend, or if you had like your twin brother with you, that'd be awesome.
But I'd say like I have a brother, and I would not be okay sleeping in the same bed as him.
Fair enough, but I mean, like you had the same room though.
Like the only person who I'd be okay sleeping in a bed with is either like my girlfriend, or like I was okay with like my brother sleeping in the same bed when he was a small child.
Yeah.
Like if he had a nightmare or something like that, it's fine. But that's different, Now that he's grown up a bit.
Everyone needs their space.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm thinking like this will be good if you had a partner.
Also, you know that I move around a lot in my sleep because we got put in the same room.
True. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And I kicked
you kicked me off the bed. Listeners, do not. If you're sleepovers,
future girlfriends, I will probably kick you in my sleep.
Warning: if you ever get in a sleepover in the same bed with Jeffrey, do not expect to be in that bed by the time you wake up in the morning.
Yeah, I expect to probably go face first right to the ground.
It's like you wake up, it's like, oh god, what's that dent in my? Oh god, that's the That's the counter. Oh my goodness. I'm on the floor. What happened? And you see him like laying down on the other side like
Yeah, because I like take up a lot of space while I sleep, and anything in that bed that's like this morning, I woke up and all of my bed was just ruined. Like both of my pillows were on the ground and my blanket and sheet, and I was wrapped up in the actual bed sheets. Because I had somehow ripped them up from like you know how they're in the bed?
Yeah.
I took them up in my sleep and wrapped myself in them as I slept, and I woke up like, what the hell? What would happen here? Now that usually doesn't happen, but still, like I'll wake up and I'll be like missing a pillow and my sheet will be half off me, that sort of thing. But anyone who's ever been in the same bed as me has been kicked in their sleep.
it's a fact of life. It's a law of nature.
If you're in the same bed as Jeff, he will kick you.
The solution is to sleep under the bed and
get crushed.
And use it as a futon. The floor as a futon.
Yeah.
Actually, now I guess we're going full circle in our tangents. I actually want to talk about the futon. I actually think it's actually worth it because if I were to get like a house or like, if I were to rent out a studio, get a futon. All right. These cost you like $300 instead of getting a mattress, which is like, I don't know, $1,000 or more.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, have you seen like prices for a mattress? They're pretty expensive.
I have a hand-me-down mattress.
Fair. But you can get a hand-me-down mattress at your Salvation Army. But if you want like a new mattress, it's going to cost you a little penny. So the good ones are like, around $300 for a futon instead of just leaving like a sleeping bag. And then if you get like a really nice pillow, it's not that bad an idea.
You would just need a good amount of padding because floors are really hard.
Exactly. But
especially if it's like wood or something like that,
Well, that's the point. If I get a nice wooden floor and it's like, say it's like polished up like that.
I would get it as carpet, honestly. Like I'd rather sleep on carpet than wood.
That's the thing. That's the thing about the futon. You can get carpet, then get the futon, then get your own pillows.
Yeah, it sounds okay. I just prefer a Western style bed because it's what I'm used to.
Yeah, I'm just going to go full weave because, I mean, honestly, the next thing I need to do is just move to Japan.
And then you can change your skin color.
No, I'm going to keep my skin color.
Okay, a story. So, one of my dad's best friends from the Navy, because my dad was in the Navy.
Right.
He is this like really tall, like taller than me, and I'm fairly tall. He's like a few inches taller than me, like maybe 4.
6'4"?
He's like 6'6".
Oh.
And he's huge, like very wide, but not fat. But he's like muscular. He's huge, muscular black guy, shaved head, no facial hair, and his nickname in the Navy was Rock, which is how my dad always calls him, and I don't really know his real name, but I just call him Sir or something like that.
Sir Rock.
No, but I don't say Rock because that just sounds like weird when I say it. So he was, I think it was a few years ago. He was deployed because he's still in the Navy, or at least he was back then. I think he got out of it recently because he wants to be with his family. He has like 5 kids.
Oh.
What's it called? They sent him to Japan to be on a military base there, and he said that the Japanese looked at him like some sort of like freak because he's this giant, tall black man. He walked into a store, the entire store just looks at him. They're like, "Hello, what do you want?" He's like, I just want some noodles. Can I get a number 1? They're like, do you want that bigger? It's like, no, I'm fine. Like, okay. But he just said that the Japanese, like, everyone would just stare at him.
I'm expecting
because he was such an oddity. Like,
it's a fish out of water, like a poo in The Simpsons.
Yeah. Like it was so rare. Like, it's even, like, it's uncommon for a black person to be in Japan.
Exactly.
But someone of his size was even more.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, they're like, oh my god, because he was feet above them.
But even then, it's like, that's uncommon here. Like, that's like basketball players. So I was like, you play basketball? Like, but even then, and you go to Japan where everyone's like around like 5 foot or something like that.
Are they really that short?
No, but it's like, I know like it's nowhere close to where our average.
Isn't the male average like 5'6" or something?
It's 5'6". That's the
wow, that's like the female average here.
Exactly. But yeah, that's basically it. What do we want to do for the outro? What do you want to say?
I would like to thank everybody who's been watching. I never really thought we'd get to 10 episodes,
Yeah.
Usually when I start something, I drop it fairly soon after. But we stuck through. I mean, we had some hard times, especially with that big gap in between episodes. And we're trying to make it shorter, of course, to get that and let them out faster.
So that's the only reason it took longer is because I finally got everything squared away. I can finally fail a class and not have to care, and it'd be actually better for me. Because if I pass it would be like...
It still sounds weird for you to say that. But
I know. Ishan, I'm going to pass a class, and I'm happy.
I bet your mother's happy to hear you say that.
I explained that to her, the whole thing, and I was like... She's like, she trusts me, so she doesn't think I'm just doing it to waste my time and waste her time.
But as I was saying, I'd like to thank you all for listening. We plan on making many more of these. Even if we don't get really popular, I just enjoy doing this.
Yeah.
It lets me talk to one of my best friends and get stuff off my chest. So,
yeah.
Thanks for listening, and hope you stick around for a lot more of the Tangent Podcast.
Don't worry, we're not ending soon. Don't think this is like one of those sentimental videos where we like say goodbye and then we don't post another video again.
No. We'll be back like next week talking about like
politics. Why not?
Politics or like I don't know. See you guys.
Hell yeah!
See you
Woo!
guys next time. Bye.